Hi, Emily. How are you
Hey,
today?
good. How are you?
I am doing well. It's great to see you again. How have you been?
Pretty good. Just really tired between work, school, and everything else combined.
Okay. You still have a lot going on, it sounds like.
Yeah, well, work was just pretty heavy last week. There was a lot going on at work. So last week, the work week went pretty well, but then Friday, I found out that one of my clients had passed away.
Oh, I'm
So
sorry
that
to
was
hear that.
Yeah, and it was my first client. It was my first like official client death, like client that was like assigned to me that I had been working with. Like I knew of clients in the agency that had passed away previously, but like they weren't mine per se. So that was really hard. Um, but over the weekend, I was able to like use self care to kind of help with like the issues in regards to that, like help manage any like emotions. So my boyfriend and I went to an arcade. I spent some time with friends over the weekend, so that was really nice. But then I had to go to the funeral on Monday. So well, I didn't have to go. I wanted to go. So my boss and I went to the funeral because it was right around the corner from where we work. So we went to that, and that was a hard day because we had to go to the funeral, and then we had the group that the client was in. We had to tell the group that she passed away.
Oh, that
We're kind of
sounds
just like refocusing on it again and again and again. So that's kind of just been the focus of the week is her passing. So it's hard, but it happens. I guess what makes it harder is that it was a closed casket funeral. There's no police report. There's no autopsy report. There's no like reports. So we're either suspecting A, it was a suicide, or B, it was an overdose. Just based off of like what we know about the family and things like that. And we know for a fact that her son found her. His
oh.
13-year-old son found her. So that kind of hit hard. The funeral, I was perfectly fine. Then I saw the son and I was like, oh no, I can't do this.
It hit you then, yeah. Oh, well, I'm sorry that you had to deal with that. That's a lot of weight on your shoulders.
Yeah, it
Um,
is. On the bright side, my boss. So we went to the funeral, we did group, and then I had supervision with her. That's like how my Monday mornings. Well, normally I don't go to a funeral. Normally I'd have individual sessions.
right.
During my supervision, my supervisor actually sent me home early, which was super nice because I was able to like do stuff for myself. But I was also able to use because I still had to do group later in the evening, but I was able to find something to do during that like time because I had an extra hour. So I prepped dinner, I cleaned up a little bit, and I just relaxed instead of like spending that time being like, oh, what should I do during this time?
Right. Okay, so that sounds like that kind of goes with what we've been talking about in the past two sessions then. So what I've gathered from the past two sessions is that you would like to work on some more time management
Yeah.
and spending your time a little bit more wisely and to allow you to do um accomplish more per
Yeah.
se. Is that correct?
Yeah, just be able to increase my productivity because it's been a little low.
Okay. Okay. Yep. So what I know that you have in the past tried therapy. We talked about that
Mhm.
in our first session, and you weren't very successful with it because of your therapist. Um, what other strategies, if any, have you tried? Um,
Tried in regards to what?
Time management.
Yeah, so I've tried like planners and schedulers, but I tend to be a type person that's like, oh, I can push it off. I can push it
Mhm.
off. Um, but then something gets in the way. So then when I push it off, like as long as I did, then maybe it's a little late or I'm running behind, and then it's more stressful if that makes sense.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So would you say that your confidence in changing is lower? like, would you say, how's your confidence in you wanting to change then?
I would say so. Wanting to change is a yes.
Okay.
Yes, I confidence in changing, like, I guess we would go with like 1 being like not at all, like not gonna happen. 10 being changing overnight. I'd say I'm probably at like a 6.5 just
Okay.
because of everything going on.
So you have, so what I hear you saying is that you do have the drive to change. You
Mhm.
need the correct motivation and maybe like system to help you change.
Yeah, so a big thing, like, it kinda just goes throughout my whole entire life is that, like, systems working. Like,
Yes.
those type A, I'm not a type A person if you haven't caught on to that. Uh, but those type A people that are like, "Oh, yep, I'm gonna get my homework done at this time. It'll take me 20 minutes. It'll do this, this, this." I've never been that type of person. Partially that's because I had undiagnosed and unmedicated ADHD for the first 22 years of my life. So now I'm medicated, so it's getting easier. Um, so that's
Okay.
helpful, but it's also like still some of those like learned behaviors that like you learn as like an adolescent when you have that type A type of personality aren't learned yet, if that makes sense. Like positive habits.
Okay. So lists are not your go-to.
Lists are my go-to.
Lists are your go-to.
Yeah.
You love lists.
Oh, I have on my work desk right now, there's at least 4 lists. People I need to call, notes I need to do, collaterals I need to call, random things I need to follow up with my supervisor in regards to.
Okay. So have we tried a list for your time management?
No.
Okay. Is it something you think you could try?
How would I go about trying that? I guess I'm just like,
Yeah,
I'm
sure. So maybe, okay, so actually you tell me, what types of things would you do you want to accomplish as far as your time management? So if you had your time management under control, what other things could you be accomplishing?
what other things?
So for example, I mean, if your time management is good, like really well, you know,
Mhm.
you have time to do things, what would you be
Wanting to
getting
do in
done?
that free time.
Yeah. Hmm.
I guess like in the free time, I'd probably want to do some more reading. Well, I guess listening to audiobooks because I don't actually read it because ADHD and physically reading doesn't work for me.
Okay.
I lose um, concentration really easily. But so I'd probably want to like listen to audiobooks more. Maybe like spend more time on like I have a lot of plants. And some of them are getting a little neglected, but it's okay. We'll bring them back to life eventually.
Okay.
Um, things like that. But then also like being able to like even just have extra time to like organize my office because it's a hot mess express in here.
Okay.
It's also like where I get dressed and like vanity and makeup. So like it's an office and like vanity room in one because I don't have 20 rooms. So
Okay, so then let's go back to that list, right? So,
mhm.
could your list include one of those items like a day? Um, so I know you said you have a lot of lists on your desk. Could you create a list like at home and then just put like just one item?
Yeah, I could. Just one. So what? So would the list just be one item?
Yeah, like to start off with. So maybe like a week, right? You have a week list.
Yeah, like
Um,
a week's to-do list.
yeah, like a week's to-do list, all right? Like you're going to work, whatever else duties you have at home. Um, and then throwing in one of those extras,
Oh, I see what you
taking
mean.
care of your plants, maybe reading just one chapter.
So
Uh,
like I'm gonna do daily to-do list because weeks to-do list, that's too overwhelming for me personally.
okay, yeah. So
That's
so
my
there you go. You
days.
just recognize one of your strengths, right? Like maybe doing a week list is too much for you. So start with a day.
So like tonight I need to get like one discussion board done
Yeah.
for school.
Okay.
I have a group for work. And then I'm just gonna put in like parentheses that that'll take me like an hour.
Okay. And then start off small.
Yeah. So
So
the discussion board, group, and then maybe like organizing some of my, not the whole office, 'cause that's not happening.
right, one piece of it.
Maybe like organizing, like I have a bunch of laundry on the floor that needs to be hung up. Maybe like hanging up the laundry.
Okay. If you have a bunch, maybe start with,
It's not that much. It'll take 10
okay,
minutes.
perfect.
They're sweaters, so it looks like a lot more than it is.
Gotcha. Yeah, and then maybe I have a lot more ideas now that we started on that. But we are slowly running out of time as we are reaching our 10-minute mark. So I do have a lot of other ideas. Maybe you could try this out and we could meet sometime next week and hash it out, see how it went, see if it worked for
Okay.
you.
Yeah, so I'll try to make daily to-do lists either the night before or the morning of. It'll probably have to
Okay.
be, or kind of like a mixture. And then I'll
Yeah.
see how it works
Okay.
and then report back.
Yeah, perfect. That sounds great.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Well, if you need anything, you know how to reach me. I'll be in touch with you and we will set something up for next week.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks, Emily.
Have a good day.
You too.